Soulmates, an unbelievable true love story by Bob Middleton. The first time I laid eyes on her, first thought, first words across my lips. Oh my God, I love her. Not lust. Oh, she was pretty enough, all right. No, this was much deeper, like from the depth of my soul. I didn't know her, had never even seen her before. How is it I could feel such? It was a lovely summer evening in eastern North Carolina. The wife and I had gone out to take in a band which had been advertised, rock and country. As the evening passes, my mind is filled with bewilderment. She was center stage, sounding like Janis Joplin as she sang Me and Bobby McGee. My heart pounded. Who is she? My wife beside me, I'm trying to understand these feelings. Feelings of familiarity, closeness, bonded, intimate even. How can it be? The night ends, days pass into nights, and my mind can't rest. Her image lingers. How could I have such feelings for someone I'd never met? Days turn to weeks, and weeks to years. She fades into the archives of my mind. Now my relationship of 32 years had been going south for some time. 29 to be frank. Very early I knew she wouldn't be with me till death do us part. Our children I raised to be strong and independent because I knew they would not always be with me. I loved them with all my heart. But for years I had prayed. I longed for the one I could love and share my life with. I had given up. The wife has now walked out for the last time. We were done. I was dead. I was living without a care. It was over. I couldn't accept I would be alone. Oh, there was any number of girls I could have jumped in the pan with. None were the one I so longed for. No, I remain lonely. 10 years have passed since I'd seen her, the girl that evening on the stage. But I could see her image of that night as though it were last night. One day it happens again. There's a woman sitting alone in the back of the room. A local establishment, Friends it was called. Here I had a number of friends. However, I didn't know her. She appeared to be under a heavy burden. I sensed her loneliness. My heart went out to her, as I knew loneliness. And as life would have it, I found she was married to one I had dubbed Peacock, a self-centered kind of man, strutted around a pool table like a peacock. I knowed something of him. I think I can understand her unhappiness. As weeks passed, I would see her more frequently. So lonely she was. When husband moved, she followed behind at 5 paces, her head down. How my heart hurt for her. Strangely enough, I loved her. Oddly enough, couldn't say why. That feeling one gets with familiarity, the closeness only lovers would know. But I didn't even know her name. She didn't look like the girl I'd seen on stage that night, so there was no connection with past memories. The feeling, though, was the same. Often I'd find myself thinking of her, wondering who she was. What was her story? What was her name? Again, why was I so consumed with someone I didn't even know? One beautiful Carolina day, I'd be out riding Red Streak. That would be my factory custom HD Heritage Softail, crimson on charcoal. Mostly a red streak was all one would see of it. I hadn't a care in the world when I pulled up out back at Friends. As I get off my bike, a friend calls from the tiki hut. Hey, would you mind taking this young lady for a ride? She steps forward. No way. It was her. Sure, I say. Her husband said it was okay with him, too. I don't care what she does, he says. I get my extra helmet from the saddlebags and we take to the highway. It's then I ask her name. Nothing more was said. I take her about 10 minutes up the road and pull into a gas station to fill up. Before leaving, she tells me her helmet is loose and trying to blow off her head. I went to tighten the strap, my hands touching her face. Our eyes meet for the first time. The emotions that surged through me was so overwhelming, I became dizzy. Oh man. In those eyes I seen she too was searching. I felt her pain, her sorrow. I wanted so much to hold her. I wanted to say I love you, but I couldn't do such. It would be too forward of me. So we make the 10-minute trip back to Friends. As we pull up, her husband makes a comment which wasn't worth a response. I turn and walk away and don't look back. Again, days turned to weeks and I didn't see her again. I returned to my thoughts. I wondered about her, but got on with my loneliness. Some months later, my mom takes bad off in Alabama. There was nothing to keep me here. I had to go home to care for my mom and challenge the brothers still home. I was hurting as I loaded that rental truck. My mind reeled of all the memories filling my days in eastern North Carolina, the only adult life I had known. It all began many years before. I had become a Marine stationed at Marine Corps Air Station, Cherry Point. But that's a whole nother story. My wife, my youngest daughter, two of my grandchildren, friends I had spent years with, and yes, I had thoughts of her. I didn't expect I'd see her again. Oh well, I have to go. Got someplace I got to be. Arriving in Alabama, I find things worse than I could imagine. Mom's in the hospital with a serious infection. My brother is sick and ends up in another hospital. Both were very sick for about 3 weeks. What a mess I had. Things do get better, so I take the time come spring to make the trip back to Carolina to visit with a friend. Happens to be the same who had asked me to take this gal for the ride. As I sat and spent time with friends, my buddy and another couple, there's a knock at the door. My friend yells, "Come on in." Unbelievable. Beyond my wildest dreams. She walks through the door. She was bright and radiant. No way, I thought. Didn't expect to ever see her again. Wow, how things happen. Turns out the old man had kicked her to the curb some weeks back. She had heard I would be in town. She had to see me. Guess what? We spent the entire day having the time of our lives. She cleaned fish someone else had brought in. She cooked us all a nice fish dinner. We spent the evening laughing, talking, sharing way too much. The night ends, turning into a sunny but sad day. My time up, had to return to Alabama where I was needed. She begged and pleaded I take her with me. No, I said. She pleads, please. I can't, even if I wanted. I got to go. Passing through town, I stop in at Friends to say hey. I had no plans and didn't know if I would ever pass this way again. Before I could get out, she walks in the back door. How'd she get here so fast? Well, it was good to see her one more time anyway. We talked, we shot some pool. But it's time I get on the road. I have a long way to go and little time to get there. Again, she wants to go with me. She pleads. No, I say. I don't need another woman in my life. Big lie this was. Oh man, it hurt me bad. After all the feelings I had for her. Fact is, I wished it were possible. Thing is, I didn't know what was down the road before me. It was harsh. I shouldn't have been so cold. I leave her crying. My heart hurt. Not hard to admit, I done some crying that trip home myself. Didn't expect I'd see her again. Red Streak gets me through the night, but I have an uncomfortable pain in my chest. Somewhere in Laurel, Alabama, I am in the ER. All tests were good. They could find no cause for my pain. Too many miles thinking of how I'd left her, I suppose. Hours late, I get home to find she's already talked with my mom. Oh no. What'd they talk about? Oh my, I thought. Well, she's left her number and asked I call her when I get in. Pain was gone. What could it hurt? Mind you, that call went on for the next 3 months. We chatted on Yahoo. We wrote. We emailed one another. She sends me pictures, which become my comfort. The more we talked, the more alive I became. She was a lifeline. Just looking at them pictures made my heart patter. Imagine that. 5 grandchildren and my heart patters. Could this gal be her? The one I had so longed for, prayed for, dreamt of? She talking about getting on a bus. She wants to be with me. Am I crazy? I must be crazy. No, she crazy. She was crazy about me. She saves her money and hops on a bus, a Greyhound bound for Chattanooga. Except knowing I would be there to pick her up, she had no idea what to expect. To her surprise, she got a limo waiting, a black one. It was a family limo. My brother was a funeral director, and today, chauffeur. She gets off the bus dragging all she had left of her life in a few suitcases. Man, she was so beautiful to me. The smile on her face, the embrace wasn't that of strangers, but that of two in love. Wow, it was an awesome day. We spent the evening with my brother and his family. She came in and acted as if she belonged. She picked and sang with my brother's guitar. We laughed, we sang songs. She was so happy. We were happy. My brother gives her his guitar. And just like that, she was family. My mom, well, she just loved her to death. That was then. This is now. I had a reprieve on my life. I suppose she felt the same. Not knowing what to expect, we began life together as one. Turns out we were already one, each having ties to another. What a shame this was. Never mind that. We spent our days playing, laughing, sometimes crying as we each told our stories. As months passed, it became as if we were never apart. Why did there have to be the others? I found she had married young, had 3 children, and had stood by her man for 30 years. Both our marriages had been decaying for years. Stressed, unhappy, and lonely, we had struggled to keep the vows. We both were praying, longing. She for a man who would love her, and I for the woman I could love. So we talked and talked. We shared everything. We were one. We laughed, we loved. Then it happens. 5 months into this joyful journey, I was floored. Really hard to believe. We on the patio talking and sharing our lives, our experiences, when she starts talking of being in a band. No way, I say. Could she be the girl on the stage that night so long ago? No way. I began to tell her about that night, what I had seen and experienced. This gal on the stage, modestly dressed, a long dark skirt to her knees, black knee-high boots, with long dark hair falling almost to her boots. She sang and kept rhythm with a tambourine, drums behind her, a guy on lead guitar to her left, a bass on her right. Well, kiss my grits. It was her. Unbelievable. How'd this come together in such a way? One day maybe I can tell that story if I ever come to understand it myself. Turns out it was her peacock husband who had taken $5 off of me that night so long ago in a pool game. Imagine that. He's a pool hustler. I'm not even a rookie. Blessed and prayers answered, I'd say. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find the love and joy of your life. So we talked, we played, we laughed, we shared our lives and our love. We were one and the same. We were happy, we were blessed. Everywhere we went, we were loved. Often someone would ask if we were married. We'd laugh and answer, yes, but not to each other. Well, time changes so much. We don't talk that much anymore. Well, we done said it all, that's why. Our days turn to years. We respect one another. We never fight, never argue. We so close, I can reach over and touch her any time of day. We give God thanks for our days and His loving grace. 21 years have passed since that night so long ago. The gal I seen on that stage is now my wife, my life, my everything. Today we spend our days laughing, loving, and sharing one life. She is much more than my wife. She my soulmate. And while death may separate us for some time, it shall not part us. We will be together again. This I'm sure of. A never-ending love story by Bob.